Hello. I'm going to talk about hand balance today because I get asked about it a lot, and as a teacher I really believe it's important from beginner, grade 1 all the way up. You can do it at an early level as well, and it makes all the difference. Basically it can really make the difference between a distinction grade and not, and whether how musical you sound. And if we can just get that in early, it's once you've got it, once your brain kind of clicks with it, you can run with it for years. So I've chosen a grade 1, a grade 3, a grade 5 and a grade 7 piece, so you can kind of see balance issues that happen as you go up the grades. And I'll show a few examples, and I'll show you tips, and I'll show how I teach it and kind of common things that come up and kind of the tricks that I've got to work with this. Be patient. Some people can get it within 2 lessons, some people can do it within the week, some people can do it on the day, and some people might take 2 months. And I've kind of learn a few things that might help. So here we go. I'm going to start with a little grade 1 piece called Walking Together by Chris Norton. So I've chosen 2 Trinity pieces, by the way, and 2 ABRSM, so that I'm totally equal because I record pieces for both. I have students that do both exam syllabuses. Suits different people, all fine. So this is called Walking Together. Now if I played it with no hand balance whatsoever, the first couple of lines, it sounds like this. It's line 1. If I played it with better hand balance, it sounds like this. And suddenly I sound really musical and less plonky, as I might say to some students. So what did I do? Okay, the basics are really how close you stay to the keys, how much you move your arm, how hard you press with your fingertips, and how you're thinking it in your head. I think those are the 4 things. The most basic one to start with is to really think how close you are to the keys. So the hand you don't want to really be very loud, stay incredibly close. If I stay really close, I actually can't push that much, and I'm not going to move my arm that much. So that kind of ticks the other 2 boxes, yeah? And I don't even necessarily lift my finger off the key at all. I stay really close, and I don't always let the key totally lift up. That's the other thing. If you want to be really, really quiet, you've got to stay very close to the keys. So therefore, in contrast, the hand that I want to sing out actually has to maybe come down on it from more of a height, and I move my arm more. And then, okay, I'm not a physics teacher, but if you kind of think of the distance you travel and how much you push and everything like that, I'm really not a science teacher, as you can tell. If this, the nearest I stay to the keys, the distance is less, the push is less, so the sound is going to be less. Does that make sense? The more I move, okay, let's just take the first 4 notes, the first 3 notes. If I stay really close, I'm going to lift my fingers a bit more. Volume's going up. Wasn't even pushing more. I'm now going to push, and I'm going to move my arm. What happens to the sound? It gets much louder. Okay, so it's kind of basic science, but I can't really teach it. I'm a musician, not a science teacher. Anyway, so when I'm playing this now at grade 1, I would practice hands separately. My tune, I'd be thinking in my head, I'd move my arms, and I kind of would just maybe drop on from a bigger height because I want it all to sing. Whenever I practice my left hand, I hardly want to move. So, like a teeny tiny mouse. I'm not really letting my fingers move or anything. Totally different. So it's a bit like doing this thing, isn't it? So this arm is moving lots, this hand is moving little. Now, a student comes back to me the next week and goes, Susie, I did what you said. I practiced with this. This is loud, this is soft. But Susie, when I put my hands together and I concentrate on my right hand going loud, my left hand goes loud, Susie. And then I make my left hand go soft and my right hand goes soft, Susie. I can't do it. And they get horribly frustrated. And what I would say then is slow it right down and exaggerate it. Eventually, I promise your brain will click. So you would then do literally, I'm going to do that, Susie. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do it really slowly. Until I can make both hands do exactly what I want. But as slow as you need to take it is absolutely fine. And then you gradually go a little bit faster. And if you get huffy, you walk away and you come back when you feel nice and relaxed again. The other thing is, relaxing actually, particularly for soft stuff. Just make sure, tiny, hardly any effort at all. Just stay really relaxed. So go slow, practice separate, lots of movement with your singing hand, very little movement with like tickling the keys with a hand that's not important. Does that make sense? So that's grade 1. A grade 3 one, I actually don't have got the music here because I've lent it to a student to do their performance exam. So there's a piece on the grade 3 ABRSM alternative syllabus list, the current one, called Hallelujah, Leonard Cohen's piece. I'm sure you know it. And what this arrangement is beautiful, it's fantastic, totally against the law of physics. So the left hand is really busy, but is unimportant, not helpful. So, I think it starts on C. This is what happens. This is the left hand. Busy, busy, busy. So I get students coming back and doing this, Susie. I've learnt it. The arrangement's not helping us. The hand that I want to do loads and move and sing does this. Hardly anything. The hand that I want to be quiet has all these big loads of notes and turning my hand over. But I can do this because I know the rules. Stay really close to the keys. Like really, really close. Relax though, because otherwise if you don't relax, your notes won't necessarily sound. So really, really tiny. This hand has got to move lots. Maybe drop onto it a lot to make it sing. And my head has to really be singing the tune, thinking the song. And so my left hand has to have done loads of practice so that it knows what it's doing and kind of do it really, really subtly and gently without much thought. And then I think my lovely tune. I'm going to put the pedal in now, so maybe that wasn't a fair experiment. Here it was with pedal. With a keen student going, Susie, I've learnt the notes, look. And they do this. But hardly move. Right arm, go for it. Pushing more with this finger, I'm moving my arm more, I'm thinking about it, and this one I'm keeping really close to the keys. So again, it might be that it takes a lot of patience and you might have to, what's quite good with this one, the only thing that is good that makes it a bit easier, is that there are gaps when this hand stops. And we go back to just this hand on his own. So at that point you think I must really concentrate on going small until he comes back in. And take it really slowly. Until you get it. Big, small, small, big. Like that. So slow, careful, hand separate lots. When you come together, take it slow at first and think about the physics of it. How much am I moving? How close am I to the keys? What am I concentrating on? So that's grade 1 and grade 3. Grade 5, Elegy for the Arctic, ABRSM alternative piece by Einaudi. Love it. Okay, so the opening theme is in the right hand and the left hand's doing hardly anything. Hooray! but my right hand is doing 2 notes and I want the upper voice to be louder in balance than the lower note. So now I've got to balance within my hand. Now that's quite tricky. So that was me doing it quite nicely, because I naturally did it, sorry, because I think about it. And I just naturally, I'm normally an accompanist for singers, and I think about the tune and I concentrate on the tune, I suppose. If I try to do it, but with not good balance, so try not to be musical, Suze. So that's my hand equal, isn't it? Not being musical at all, very plonky. Okay, what I actually am going to do is I kind of tilt my hand. Of course, ironically, your weaker fingers are at the top of your right hand, aren't they? And these are the ones that actually have to be stronger and pinging out sound. So you might have to be clever with drop, because it's a weak little finger. And in a way, I sort of create a little bit of tension up here in order to kind of get more push there, maybe my arm. The best way to practice balance within the hand is to break it up and again, take it really slow and think about your physics. So my top note, I'm going to drop onto it firmly, and the bottom note of the chord, I'm now actually going to play separately and play it quietly. My top note of the chord, big, small one, the bottom. So these are eventually going to be a chord played at once. But for now, I'm going to just practice top notes big, bottom notes small. Top notes big, bottom notes small. So I'm dropping onto my top one, trying not to do much on my bottom. When I've got the hang of that, I put them together. And I practice. And actually my hand is tilting and it is focused on the top note. But I'm making sure I can play the bottom note at the same time. So you kind of have to find a position for it. Can you hear though that the top note is louder? If you don't get it straight away, I'm making it look easy. It's unfair. I've been playing for over 40 years. Take it, go back to basics. Big, small, big, small, big, small, big, small. Together. Until you get it. Okay, so you can have hand balance within your hand. And the more notes you get and the higher up the level, the more important it is. And so here's a grade 7 one. Trinity, strutting at the Waldorf. Okay, 4 notes here in this chord, four notes here, 4 notes here. But I want my top note to ping out. I don't want. Now, in order to make them equal, I've actually had to lean my hand the other way. I naturally, I'm going to lean up to the top. Almost my hand sort of like this. My left hand, I want the bass note to be quite important, so I lean on it, I drop onto it a little bit, but then the next chord, I stay really close to the keys. So it's all about this. Thinking about my tune, I'm pushing more, I'm using my arm, I'm angling my hand, and the hand that I don't want to be doing much volume at all, I'm keeping really, really close to the keys. Not being tense, being relaxed, but just keeping it really small. Tickle, push and lean. So those are my tips for hand balance across the levels. I hope it all kind of makes sense. There's really common factors with everything. And as I say, really be patient, just take it a really slow speed. Eventually, a little switch will click in your brain and you'll be able to do it. It makes such a difference to musicality, lots of hands separate. As I say, be kind to yourself and it will pay off in the end. I really hope that helps.